If there's one thing summertime reminds me of, it is sandwiches. They are easy to make, go-to meals, and they're so good. So today I'm sharing a recipe for a high protein focaccia sandwich. Now we are going to be making the protein focaccia from scratch, so it is a little bit involved, but this is the kind of thing that you can do like at night, the day before you want the sandwich. So then the bread is ready to go the next day. And of course, if you don't care about things being high protein, just buy some focaccia from the store or, do whatever you want to do. You could use a different kind of bread too. But I really wanted to make this because for me, just summer, I'm always thinking of sandwiches and I always love a focaccia sandwich. And in Italy, they're like this. They're thin. They're like fluffy, but they're thin. I feel like in the US, Italian Americans, we make our focaccia a lot thicker, but in Italy, it's always pretty thin. So this just truly reminds me of the focaccia sandwiches I was eating in Italy. I kept it super simple. We did sort of like a whipped basil, tofu, ricotta, cream cheese kind of spread. And then we have just cucumbers and tomatoes, balsamic glaze, and it is delicious. So I'm so excited to share this recipe with you. I hope you have been enjoying the videos in the summer season. If you haven't seen the other ones, be sure to check them out. As always, the full rundown recipe is on my blog, plantifullybasedblog.com. I link anything I think you need in the description box of this video, and I also write out all the ingredients. So with all that being said, let's get into the recipe. We're going to start this recipe off with Vital wheat gluten. This is our main protein source in this protein focaccia. 100 grams of the Vital wheat gluten is going to give us 75 grams of plant protein. Then we have either all-purpose flour or bread flour. I'm using bread flour. Either one works fine. Salt, garlic powder, and then I'm using instant yeast. You can also use active dry yeast, but I like the instant yeast better because then you don't have to go through the hassle of proofing it ahead of time. If you use active dry yeast, you have to proof it. If you use instant yeast, it goes right into the dry ingredients. Doesn't really matter either way, just depends on which is your preference. When I first started baking, I did like active dry yeast more, just so I could see that it was really proofed and was going to work. But now that I've baked a lot, I'm fine with instant yeast. Mix up all the dry ingredients, make a little well in the middle, and we're going to add in our water and olive oil. And then we will start to mix the dough. All you're going to do is mix it until it forms a shaggy dough using your spoon. You do not need a stand mixer for this recipe. We don't want to overmix because we have so much Vital wheat gluten in there. Now, as I was mixing, my mixture felt a little dry. I added in a little extra water. That's already accounted for in the ingredients, so don't worry. And I could feel it was dry because it was powdery. It wasn't coming together. And if you use your hands, you'll be able to better feel a wet dough versus a dry dough. Now, I'm going to empty this out onto my cutting board, and I'm going to use my hands and knead this only for about 1.5 to 2 minutes. Again, we're not over kneading here because we have so much Vital wheat gluten in here. We don't want this to get rubbery and chewy in the wrong way. So I'm just working it with my hands, pressing and kneading, and it'll look like this. It doesn't need to be a smooth dough ball. It doesn't need to be perfect. This is good. And then I'm just going to kind of pull it a little bit, tuck it under, good enough. We're going to pop this back in that dish. I had a little more oil left. There was like residual oil, so I'm just kind of scraping that onto there and coating it. But if you want to add an extra drop or two in, and then we will cover this with a dish towel. I like to let this rise in my oven, my turned off oven, for 1 hour, but you want to let it rise somewhere that's warm. Ovens are usually a good spot for that, but it just depends. If your kitchen's really warm, use that. While that's doing its first proof, we're going to make the basil tofu cream cheese. So I have basil from my garden. I grew this basil from seeds, nutritional yeast, non-dairy milk, salt, and we're going in with some extra firm tofu. You do not need to press the tofu. We want the liquid from the tofu to help us mix this up. Now we're just going to let the blender do its job. It's going to be a little bit on the thinner side once you're all done blending it, but don't worry, this thickens up in the fridge. And I just had to scrape the sides down very briefly. You might have to do it. I transferred this into a little bowl, and you can see here it's a little thinner than I want it to be. But like I said, we're going to pop this in the fridge. It's going to thicken up about 30 minutes. Our dough is done proofing now. So I'm going to now lightly grease a 9 by 9 inch baking dish. Just add a little oil and wipe it around. And now I'm going to start to spread the dough. This dough is a little bit tighter, more resistant than regular dough. It's okay. All right, it's okay. So don't worry, we're just gonna help it. So I just spread it out. We're gonna cover again, let it rise 1 to 2 hours. And now the dough has relaxed even further, so we can go back in with our knuckles again and give it one more press. That's what gives focaccia its classic pattern and texture up top, is actually your knuckles. So that's kind of cool and also a little bit weird, but we are ready to bake now. I'm gonna add a little bit of salt on top. You don't have to do this. Pop it in the oven, 400 degrees Fahrenheit for about 15 to 20 minutes. My sweet spot was 17 minutes. It just depends on your oven, until golden brown. Meanwhile, I am thinly slicing a tomato, a beautiful tomato, and then I'm going to pat it dry after. Now you can just slice the tomato and pat it dry and be done. Or if you wanna take it a little bit of a step further, you can do what I'm doing right here, which is just kind of giving it a little bit of red wine vinegar and salt and black pepper to, I guess we could say, marinate it a little bit. It's not a full-on marination, but just to give some flavor and whatnot. Again, you don't have to do this if you don't want to. And the great part about this recipe is you can add any vegetables, flavors, whatever you like. It's your focaccia sandwich. Do what you want. And then I'm also going to thinly slice up half of an English cucumber. These are my preferred cucumbers. The skin is thinner. They have a better flavor in my opinion, but use any cucumber that you like. And again, I'm just thinly slicing everything. It'll go on the sandwich super nicely. Our focaccia is finally done. Okay, it is beautiful, stunning, gorgeous, 10 out of 10. Incredible. I let this cool for about 10 to 15 minutes, and then I'm taking a serrated knife and I am going to cut all the way through and around with a little bit of patience to cut off the top half. Just go slow, be gentle, flip it if you have to. And this way we can make one big sandwich, kind of like how people do with Hawaiian rolls, but we're going to do that with the focaccia. So as you could see, that's the inside texture. Looks great. Our tofu cream cheese really thickened up a lot, which is great. So I'm going to add half to the top piece of bread, half to the bottom piece of bread. If this was something that you wanted to not make until the day of, I would recommend you make the focaccia and the tofu cream cheese beforehand. Keep them separate, of course. And then right when you want to eat, you can assemble the sandwich and then cut it into however many pieces you like. And I think that's a better way to do it. I'm going to add our beautiful tomato and cucumber to the sandwich, and I did my best to kind of lay it thinly and evenly. And yeah, I just think the fun part about this is you can do whatever you want, but I really loved all these flavors together. They were really good and really delicious. And finally, balsamic glaze. I love balsamic glaze. If you've never had it, you're missing out. It's like a thickened, sweetened, reduced down balsamic vinegar. Again, I went in with a little more salt. You can if you want to, you don't have to. Pop that top on, and now we can just start to cut into it. It's a little stressful. I was a little stressed out, I won't lie to you guys, but we got there. We did it, and I just cut it into quarters. I personally don't think you need to cut this into anything smaller. I designed it to be a 4-serving recipe, so that's your call if you want to cut these into, 8 pieces, but I don't think you need to do that. And then there you go. We have this beautiful sandwich. It's a little messy, but what good sandwich isn't? I think it's absolutely stunning. So I hope you guys try this one out. If you do, let me know what you think in the comments down below or leave a comment on the blog. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you soon with more videos. Bye.